Stalin's 70th birthday celebration, December 2nd, 1949. The new Moscow-Peking axis poses an ever more ominous threat to the free world. The communist narrator translates.
The most vital tasks at the present time are to fight the warmongers, strengthen good neighborly relations between the two great states, China and the Soviet Union, and thanks particularly to the correct international policy of Generalissimo Stalin. In the Presidium are leaders of the party and government, representatives of the various Soviet republics, and of the Communist and Workers' parties abroad.
Khrushchev proudly proclaims Stalin the genius, leader, teacher, father of the nationalities, great industrializer, great collectivizer, creator of Soviet culture, careful gardener tenderly rearing the human beings in his charge. Nikolai Zvernik makes the introductory speech. To his left are Georgy Malenkov, first secretary of the Central Committee, and Lavrenti Beria, Stalin's Minister of Interior and State Security. Next to Stalin are Mao Zedong, Walter Ulbricht, Deputy Prime Minister of East Germany, and in a place of prominence, Nikita Khrushchev. In preparation for his next move, Stalin steps up the clamor for peace throughout the world. A rash of peace demonstrations breaks out. This is one of them. The communist narrator says,
on Berlin's Marx-Engels Square, the German youth demonstrate in defense of peace against the remilitarization of Western Germany. The German youth is greeted by the delegates to the World Youth Festival, representing 101 countries. Among those marching are 35,000 young peace champions from Western Germany who managed to get through Adenauer's police cordon. 2 million persons take part in the procession. In the evening, there's a youth meeting on the square. The speech of greeting is made by Walter Ulbricht, Deputy Prime Minister of the German Democratic Republic.
Youth everywhere are brainwashed.
У комунізм свої вітрила щасливий править Волгодон, і непоборна наша сила, яку не взяти у полон, щолом за це віддати. Звідкільця висігло, і хто могутній міг з'єднати серця у нас усіх, єдина мати.
Communist narrators continue.
The artist borrows Prorokov's illustrations to Mayakovsky's verses about America. They lay bare the real nature of present-day America with its false democracy, lynch law, thirst for profits, and the brutalities committed by the militarists. These illustrations won the artist the Stalin Prize.
Before us is a frontier, an ordinary frontier that separates one nation from another. These lovers ought to be together, but nothing can be done about it. The frontier. He can't reach his sweetheart's hand. The frontier's in the way. But see what's happening. The clowns are turning frontier posts into road markers. And now, there's a road before us. If all the frontiers were turned into roads, they could be used to travel the world over.
A gay and noisy carnival fills the streets until the early hours of the morning. The people condemn the warmongers, enemies of democracy.
In communist North Korea, a nightmare of national brainwashing is taking place.
He supervises the work of a group of writers translating the classics of Russian literature and books on the Soviet Union. Among the first books earmarked for publication in the Korean language is a biography of Generalissimo Stalin.
And in Moscow, North Korean leaders absorb Soviet techniques. The Korean people are unimpressed. Tens of thousands flee to the democratic South. Korea becomes the Germany of the East. Stalin decides to do what he didn't dare to do in Germany: take control of the divided country by force. June 25th, 1950, the North Koreans launch a surprise attack. Their advance is spearheaded by Russian tanks. But once again, the United States stands firm. Stalin miscalculated. The Cold War becomes a hot war. American troops, later supported by forces from the United Nations, hold and then rout the North Koreans. Mao Zedong pours 1 million Chinese so-called volunteers into the fight. After 3 years of conflict and negotiations, agreement is reached. Lieutenant General Nam II signs for North Korea. American Lieutenant General William J. Harrison signs for the United Nations. The cost to the United States for stopping the Red aggression: 135,000 casualties and $20 billion. These are American soldiers, some of the 10,000 prisoners of war senselessly slaughtered by barbaristic communism. And these are South Korean soldiers. And the Reds retain control of the 15 million North Koreans. The Kremlin. Stalin's war, hot or cold, is stymied. He needs scapegoats for his failures. On August 12, 1952, 400 Jewish artists, actors, and writers are murdered. Next, leading Jewish doctors are accused of a plot to poison the Soviet leadership and of working for foreign intelligence. Stalin tells Ignatiev, the then Minister of State Security, "If you do not obtain confessions from the doctors, we will shorten you by a head." Stalin instructs, beat, beat, and once again beat. Caught in the frenzy of his purge, Stalin now plans to liquidate his entire inner circle: Molotov, Malenkov, Beria, Mikoyan, and thousands more are threatened. But before the murders can begin, Stalin dies of a stroke. The end of a tyrant. At the bier, the beginnings of a struggle for power reminiscent of the death of Lenin. Again a triumvirate. The heirs apparent are Molotov, Beria, and Malenkov, who now becomes premier. Khrushchev is still in the background, waiting. Within months, the new rulers are shaken by the first popular uprising against a Red dictatorship. East Berlin, June 17, 1953. The sign says, "We want freedom." It starts with workers demonstrating against